Hi, I'm Gordon from Camera Labs, and this is my review of the Rode Videomic GO II, a compact microphone aimed at video creators and costing around $99 or pounds. And before I go any further, this entire voiceover that you're listening to right now, before I start my comparisons, was recorded with the Videomic GO II connected to my MacBook Pro over USB, and I'm at a distance of about 30 centimeters or 12 inches. The Videomic GO II is the successor to the original Videomic Go, launched over 5 years earlier, and like that model, it's designed to be as simple as possible, powered by whatever you plug it into, and with no controls to worry about. Costing around $99 or pounds, it's positioned roughly between the budget Video Micro, which costs around $55, and the high-end Videomic NTG, which will set you back around $250. All are designed to mount onto camera hot shoes or boom poles, and as shotguns, they're also all designed to concentrate on the sound right in front of them, and this makes them ideal for recording vlogs, podcasts, or any kind of piece to camera. Where they differ is in size, quality, and features. The Videomic GO II is essentially a smaller, lighter, and simpler version of the NTG, sharing a similar acoustic and external design. The naked microphone tube itself is 15 centimeters long, made of metal, and weighs just 89 grams. Like the NTG, it clips onto the supplied shock mount, which effectively absorbs any vibrations, while also providing channels to guide the cables. Rode supplies the Videomic GO II with a foam cover that provides some protection against minor wind noise, but if you're filming in breezy conditions, you should use the optional fluffy accessory that costs around $30, or perhaps try pre-configuring the high pass filter to minimize any rumble. Note the cheaper Video Micro skips the dense foam cover and is actually supplied with a fluffy accessory as standard, making it more practical out of the box for breezy conditions, although this accessory can get in the way of some smaller cameras. Like the NTG, a twist of a locking wheel lets you slide the entire mount back or forth by around 2 centimeters in either direction, which, coupled with the side-mounted ports, means you can position the microphone so it won't get in the way if you're filming with the electronic viewfinder on a mirrorless camera. In contrast, just look at the older Videomic Pro Plus, which not only can't shift back and forth, but also positions its audio cable on the back rather than the side. This makes it somewhat awkward to use when composing through an electronic viewfinder. Rode fixed this with the sliding mount on the NTG, which is now inherited on the Go Mark II. Just push them forwards and you won't get in the way of the viewfinder. But when would you want to push the microphone backwards so it actually overhangs your viewfinder cup? Well, how about this situation when you're vlogging? I'm using the Videomic Go Mark II mounted on my Lumix G9 here with a very wide angle lens, the Olympus 8mm f1.8 fisheye set here to f8. Now this lens is so wide that if you have something just above it, like a long microphone, it may become visible in the shot. Now it actually didn't in the case of the Videomic Go Mark II, but it's a good illustration of a situation when you might want to push that microphone backwards rather than forwards. And it also allows me to demonstrate what the microphone is like when you're walking and talking. I'm being very careful underfoot here because it is very muddy and I don't want to slip at this point in the video. So here's how the Videomic Go Mark II performs in a vlogging type environment about 50 centimeters away from my face. Again, like the NTG, there's 2 ports on the Videomic GO II. On one side, a standard 3.5mm analog output for connecting to cameras or audio recorders, and a USB-C port on the opposite side for connecting to phones, tablets or laptops. Rode supplies a 3.5mm male-to-male analog cable with the mic, but you'll need to supply your own USB cable. The ability to be used as a USB microphone is a key benefit of the GO II over its predecessor, as well as the Video Micro and the Pro Plus, and when connected over USB, the analog port on the opposite side can also double as a zero latency headphone jack. Once again, the voiceover you're listening to right now was recorded with the Go Mark II connected to my MacBook over USB, but here's another demo, but this time with my phone. One of the most useful features on the Videomic Go Mark II is the ability to use it as a standard USB microphone, and in fact the audio that you're hearing on this particular clip was recorded with the microphone's USB output connected directly to the USB-C input on my Samsung Galaxy S20 phone here, and that's running the free Rode Reporter app, which is a simple way to make audio recordings. And I've synced the sound from that file with the video clip that I've recorded here on my Sony a6400. But it also means that you can use this as a standard USB mic on any compatible device, be it a phone, a tablet or a computer. So you could be using this microphone for those Zoom conference calls or WhatsApp or Skype calls with your friends and family. And this also gives me a chance to test out the microphone at pretty close range. It's only about 6 inches away from my mouth here, but as a shotgun microphone it should be pretty directional. So as I keep talking, I'm just going to turn the mic to one side to see whether it's going to pick up much sound from the side, and as I bring it back again, that sound should become louder and louder until I turn it back this way. And if I was to point the microphone directly away from me as if I was behind the camera, here's how that sounds. So it should be a pretty directional system, but you tell me what you think. And again, this is from a pretty short distance and recorded with my Galaxy S20. Like its predecessor and the smaller Video Micro, there's no battery in the Go II, with the microphone instead powered directly by your camera or the USB connection. In contrast, the Pro Plus and NTG both use built-in batteries which are charged over USB. Rode has also kept things simpler than the higher-end models by not including any physical controls on the Go II, but that doesn't mean it misses out on some of their more advanced configuration options. Connect the Videomic GO II over USB, and the Rode Central app, available for mobile or desktop, allows you to pre-configure a bunch of options including a pad, a high-pass filter which could help reduce rumbling from a light breeze, and a high-frequency boost. So it's handy if you need those features without overcomplicating the device for those who just want plug and play. You will need to take some care over your levels though, as unlike the NTG and Pro Plus, there is no safety channel option. Okay, now for my tests, and since I didn't have the Video Micro or NTG on hand for direct comparisons, I've gone for something a bit different. I'm going to be presenting results from 4 microphones in 3 different environments. First, you'll hear the built-in mics of my Sony a6400 camera that I use for most of my filming, followed by the Videomic GO II, then for the older Videomic Pro Plus, and finally the recently released Lavalier 2. I'll demo all 4 products indoors at a distance of 1 meter, then 50 centimeters, before finally taking them all outside and then heading on to my verdict. Okay, so let's have a listen and let me know which ones you think sound best. Sony a6400 built-in microphones with the level set to the default value of 26. So this is the sound that you get from a distance of about 1 meter or just over 3 feet away when you're using the camera's built-in microphones. This is the Rode Videomic GO II mounted on my Sony a6400 on the hot shoe, so pointing directly at me, and I'm at a distance of almost exactly 1 meter or just over 3 feet away from the front of the microphone and the front of the lens that I'm using. Audio levels are set to 12. This is the Rode Videomic Pro Plus mounted on the hot shoe of my Sony a6400 from a distance of about 1 meter or just over 3 feet away. I've got the microphone's output level set to 0 dB, at which point it is a little bit quieter than the Videomic GO II as standard, so I've had to increase the recording levels to 18 compared to 12 on my Sony a6400. This is the Rode Videomic Pro Plus, mounted on the hot shoe of my Sony a6400 from a distance of about 1 meter or just over 3 feet. This time I've set the microphone to output plus 20 dB, so this is its hotter, its higher, its louder output, and this in turn has meant that I've had to reduce the recording levels on my a6400 to a value of 7, which is much lower than before, which means I'm putting less pressure on the camera's preamplifiers to make that signal bigger. This is the Rode Lavalier Mark II lapel-based microphone. You can see it here on my collar, and I've got it wired directly into the camera, so this is not going through a wireless transmission system, and I don't have any extension cables either, so I'm just using the wire that came with it, which you can see here is only about 1 meter long, so I am literally tethered to the camera. However, distance doesn't matter when you're using a lav mic because the microphone is mounted on you, not the camera. Sony a6400 built-in microphones, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic GO II, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic Pro Plus, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic Pro Plus with plus 20 dB gain, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Lavalier Mark II, testing, 1, 2, 3. Now, one of the best ways to improve your sound quality is to simply get closer to your microphone. So I've halved the recording distance from 1 meter to 50 centimeters, or about 19 to 20 inches away. I'm recording this first clip with the Sony a6400's built-in microphones, and I've set the recording level to the default value of 26. And to compensate for that shorter recording distance, I've gone for a wider lens. So instead of 24mm, which is an equivalent of 36 on this camera, I've gone for an 18mm lens, which is an equivalent of about 27mm. This is also the sort of distance that you would be filming at if you were vlogging. I could just about hold the camera at arm's length here if it wasn't already on a tripod. So now let's hear how those other microphones sound. This is the Rode Videomic GO II from a distance of 50 centimeters, or about 19 to 20 inches away. And I've reduced the audio recording levels to a value of 7 on my Sony a6400, but it's still mounted on the hot shoe. This is the Rode Videomic Pro Plus from a distance of about 50 centimeters, or 18 to 19 inches. I've got the microphone set to its default 0 dB output, and I have the recording level on the a6400 set to 13 from this distance. This is the Rode Videomic Pro Plus from a distance of 50 centimeters, or about 18 to 19 inches, and this time I have set the output to plus 20 dB on the microphone, so that is sending a much louder signal to the camera, which I've now had to turn down to just 3, a value of 3 on the recording levels. So this is going to be really very easy for the a6400's preamplifiers. They're not going to have to boost the signal very much here. This is the Rode Lavalier Mark II that I've got attached to my collar here and wired directly into the camera. This is at a distance of 50 centimeters, or about 19 to 20 inches, but again, the distance does not matter when you're using a lav mic, because it doesn't matter where you are in relation to the camera, because the microphone does not change its position in relation to your mouth, and that's why they can sound great, especially at longer distances. This was filmed using a recording level of 5 on my Sony a6400. Sony a6400 built-in microphones, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic GO Mark II, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic Pro Plus from 50 centimeters, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic Pro Plus with plus 20 dB from a distance of 50 centimeters, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Lavalier Mark II, testing, 1, 2, 3. Audio tests indoors are one thing, but recording outside is a completely different kettle of fish. So I've come to the great outdoors. It's quite a breezy day. There's quite a lot of ambient noise around, be it people coming back from school, cars driving along nearby roads, and quite a lot of construction work nearby. This first test, once again, is with the Sony a6400's built-in internal microphones set to their default level of 26. And once again, I'm about arm's length away, so around 50 centimeters or 19 to 20 inches, using an 18mm or 27mm equivalent lens. Now let's see how those other microphones fare under these same conditions. This is the Rode Videomic GO Mark II at a distance of about 50 centimeters or 19 to 20 inches on the hot shoe of my Sony a6400. Now I'm using the very dense foam cover that comes with it, but it does not have an additional dead cat fluffy windshield here, so you may hear some wind noise because it is picking up. And the audio levels on my a6400 are currently set to a value of 4. This is the Rode Videomic Pro Plus at a distance of about 50 centimeters or 19 to 20 inches. It's mounted on the hot shoe of my Sony a6400, and this time, because it is a little bit quieter, the recording levels have been boosted to 10. Like the Videomic GO Mark II, I'm only using the dense foam windshield on the microphone, so you are probably going to hear some of this breezy wind noise that's around me here. This time it's the same Rode Videomic Pro Plus from the same distance of around 50 centimeters or 19 to 20 inches on my Sony a6400, but this time I've increased that output level on the microphone to plus 20 dB, which in turn has forced me to reduce the recording level on my camera to just 3. A value of 3 is the recording level that I'm using right now on the a6400. Once again, I'm using the dense foam windshield on the microphone, but not the dead cat muffler accessory, so you will probably hear some wind noise on this clip. And finally, it's the turn of the Rode Lavalier Mark II. You can see it here attached to my collar with the supplied dead cat wind muffler because the wind levels have picked up quite a bit. It's a little bit breezy. Once again, I'm about 50 centimeters away from the Sony a6400, not that that makes a difference with a lav mic, and this time the recording levels are set to 4. Sony a6400 internal microphones, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic GO II, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic Pro Plus, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Videomic Pro Plus, plus 20 dB, testing, 1, 2, 3. Rode Lavalier Mark II, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for my verdict. The Rode Videomic GO II is a solid choice for anyone who wants to upgrade the audio quality of their recordings without breaking the bank, whether they're YouTube creators, podcasters, or simply making online calls with colleagues or family. It takes the simplicity of the original Go microphone with no battery or controls to worry about, but inherits key features of the high-end NTG mic, including a sliding mount to get out of the way of viewfinders or ultra-wide lenses, and a USB port to give you the additional flexibility of connecting it to a computer, a tablet or a phone, as well as a normal camera. The higher-end Videomic NTG is unsurprisingly better featured, with fuller sound, physical controls, a safety channel, but the GO II does offer some adjustments via Rode's app, and it is loud enough to keep most camera preamps nice and low. If you're recording outdoors, I would strongly recommend a fluffy accessory for any shotgun mic to reduce wind noise, and Rode's accessory will set you back around $30. And if you're more than a meter away from the camera, get the mic on a boom pole or just use a lav mic instead. In fact, when it gets really breezy, lav mics often prove better overall, so do think carefully about where you're going to be recording. Ultimately, the higher end Videomic NTG has justifiably become one of the most popular mics for creators, but at $250, it's beyond the reach of many on tighter budgets. This is where the Videomic GO II comes in, delivering key aspects of the NTG, but costing 2.5 times less. It is essentially a mini NTG, with the quality and features making it one of the best shotgun mics you can buy at a double-digit price. And that's it for another review. I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments what you think of the mic and which models you like to use for your recordings or calls. Like most of my videos, there's no sponsorship here, so if you like what I do, please do subscribe and check out some of my other videos. And if you're feeling extra generous, I'm always up for a coffee via the links in the description, where you also find the latest pricing on this and all the gear that I use to make my videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.